There's lots of different ways to putt. There's missing the dinger either side before or after the dinger. I tend to use grids, grid lines, the distance the ball is from a line. As you can see, that ball's what, 6-7 inches off of that line. It's quite possible the correct putting place could be 6 or 7 inches off of that line. As we can see, also paralleling lines, the line that I'm making, basically that's 6 or 7 inches off of that line, is also parallel with that line, which can tend to, for me, confirm that I'm actually hitting it on the right line. People who haven't seen it, this is Caddy Pro. It gives me a scale. As I used to putt without this, I would have to take, it's downhill putt, tournament speed, take 25% off of that and then hit that number. With the Caddy Pro, it already takes that 25% off, so basically you've just got to do the numbers. If it's more uphill, you'll have to hit it harder. If it's more downhill, you'll have to take more off. This I should be able to hit. I can hit it about 13.5 because there is a little breeze there. A lot of people don't think the breeze makes a difference to putt, but I do. There's 12, 13.5. Ta-da! I find it works a lot of the time. You've still got to pick the right spot. It's still got to turn as much as the dots are showing. Just excuse me as we get up towards the green here. Just take a minute or two. I'm also not used to slow meter balls, and these are slow meter balls, so I'm not expecting to hit the dinger all the time. I'm going to go with 98 flat, I think. Also for my shots, it gives me a scale, much like ShotPal. Just got to allow for the wind, which would be about there, I'd say. And 98. That'd be about 98 there. Want to be below the hole. Well, leave a nice little putt for an example. And I 99.9% of the time always putt in reverse view. I don't tend to look at too many views. I don't go to chip or pitch. I find it confuses me more than anything. 4.7 and down. I'm going to hit this about 5.5, and I'm going to just try and determine now where I think this has got to be aimed. It's going to turn a lot, so I'm going to parallel the line I'm making with this line, just as a, yep, about there. Hit it about 5.5, we're up near 6. Early, and it missed. See, hit the dinger it was in. We'll do a mulligan just to reconfirm what I did. Some putt, trying to make that parallel with that line there, and I will hit it 6 as I watch that die on the last putt. Voila. I'll try and get us onto another green and show you missing the dinger type putting if I can. I can do it on short putts okay, but as for long putts, I've got no idea how those clever people do that. I've tried but have had no luck with it. 60. Don't want to spin back too much, put a bit of top on it. Go to my 60 foot outages, 53 and down, a bit of wind, 56. A little early will be fine, don't want to get too close because we've got to miss the dinger to putt. That'll do. So I find, especially with putts that are turning a lot, I tend to do the miss the dinger putt. Now I always struggle with this putt. By rights, to me that's where I should be aiming at least, but we'll try and sync this with missing the dinger. So I've got to hit it early to make it go this way. So I'm going to hit it about 6.5, and I'm going to try and hit it about the line of the P, I'd say. There's 5, there's 6, because you're missing the dinger, it's going to change the pace of the ball, see? So you've got to remember, if you're going to miss the dinger when you putt, you've got to add a little bit of oomph to it. Yeah, that should do. Oh yeah, it should be in the rough, I'd say. No, there you go. Should be a 50 punch. So I change my shot gadget to punch. Select 50. Punch. 50. A little bit that way. Little putts like this, I just hit, well, I'll get the scale up so you can see, I don't hit it about 3.5, about there, miss it somewhere about 8, well, that's a little early, but I could have missed that. That's the other thing with the missing the ding putter, you get, I believe, a greater, what's the word I'm looking for, forgiveness. You can aim to miss the dinger here on a short putt, but you might miss it here and it'll still go in. Whereas when you line it up with using the marker and lining it up, if you miss that ding, even by just a pixel, you're highly likely going to miss the putt. But with missing the dinger putting, like I said, you can try and miss by 1/4 of an inch, but you might miss by 1/2 an inch and it'll still go in. It seems to have a greater forgiveness to it. Somewhere near the dinger. It should be fine against the wind. I'm happy with that. I'm just going to put a dotter back on this and hit my 120 club, all of it. Don't need the scale to change because I'm going to hit all of the club. And we've got a wind of about that. It's going to land and roll to the right. Hopefully this makes it past the hump and lands nearer the flatter section of the green. Happy with that. Yep, normally a tricky little putt on this green. So here we go. And I tend to use, another advantage is, I tend to use a bigger scale, like that's a 7 foot putt by rights, 10 foot putt, 3 inches off is 7. you could hit your 10-foot scale. So you've got to take it up to here and you've got to wait for your line to come all the way back to the dinger. I much prefer to go up, so I'm using less than half of my meter and I haven't got to wait as long. I'm thinking this is a tricky little putt. It's either going to be there, because I think it should turn a little bit at the start, so we'll try that. I'm going to hit it 7, 5, 6, 7. I missed the dinger refraction, it still went in. That's luck of the draw. But the line was the right principle. I set the line, my marker, the same distance the other side of the line as it was at the start of the putt. Wind's going to move the ball, hopefully. Yards into the wind. You're a beauty. I always get bonus yards with my 34 pitch. I'm going to aim at about there. This pitch. Change this to pitch. Select the right club. 29 yards. Happy with that. Reverse view. And it's always good to get in a routine with your putting. I always go reverse view straight away. The next thing I look at is how hard I'm going to hit my putt. It says 6.4 and it says it's up, so I'm going to hit this putt 7.5 when I hit it. Then I line it up. And I think this is going to be one of those putts. It doesn't actually line up with the grid, but we'll try it. So I'm paralleling this line here behind my feet with the line that I'm making. So I'm making it parallel, if you can understand that. I reckon it's about there, and I'm going to hit it 7.5. So I select my 10-foot, or select my 20-foot scale. That way I'm less than 50% of my scale. 5, 6, 7, and a bit over 7.5. Oh, missed the dinger by a mile. It's going to go in the hole. Who knows? It's a crazy game. But that's just the way I putt. I use the grids for long putts. I'll just try and explain it again when we get on the screen, hopefully. Fairway's always good. It's another trick too for people that are just starting out in the game, and if you ever miss the fairway, just pay the price and play a shot that gets you back out to the fairway. Sometimes you might even have to even go sideways. You're much better off to be playing your next shot from the fairway anywhere than still being in the rough. I think that's going to be a 68 punch. Looking at that. So I got a punch. It's on 68. I change my Caddy Pro to punch 68. I'm happy with that. Shouldn't be too far away. Yeah, and the Caddy Pro's a great piece of gear. It doesn't tell me what to hit, it doesn't tell me where to hit it, it just gives me a better selection of increments basically. So we go reverse view. Looking at that, it's almost dead straight, so I'll hit this. It's 4 foot and down, I'm going to hit it 5. I can use my 50 foot scale just as an example. 5. Each big white line's a 10. Each other one is a unit of 1, so that white line there is 5. Let's see if I can get us a longer putt just to give you an example. Oh, no, what am I doing? That's what I wanted. Don't you dare. Sorry, people. Going for a long putt and I'll get a hole in one. Crazy game. There you go. Well, at least some people might get to see that. And, oh, that's right, because we're on red tees. Gonna have to hit all of my drive with the 3-wood. That worked. How it goes 255 into the wind, I don't know. I know it's not a big wind, but right. So, just to refresh on how I can putt, you can use, I'll take the flag out, the distance. It could be, and you have to learn what the dots are telling you. Sometimes it can be important that distance the ball is from that line there, as in I move the marker the same distance from the hole at this end. So that would be, at a guess, about there, I'd say. Or it could be, depending on the dots, I might have to parallel it with this line or this line over here. If the dots are running fast, I might have to parallel it with, say, that line over there. It just depends on what the dots are telling you. To me, the dots aren't going crazy, so I'm going to put the marker about the same distance from this line as the ball is from that line. And it's 8.5, and it's down, and the wind's with me. I'm going to hit it 8. So I use my 20-foot scale or my 50-foot scale, it won't matter. 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's see how accurate it worked out to be. Ta-da. And that's how I putt. I hope it helps some people. I hope it does. It gives you a few more options.